Everybody, welcome back to Bayou Time. And yes, we're still talking about Hurricane Ida and the recovery. I'm Harry McCulla. I'm joined today by Elizabeth Vargus. And Elizabeth comes to us from the SBA, the Small Business Administration, which is a big part of the Recovery Act. Obviously, all of the areas around here are declared a disaster area from the President of the United States. And that allows you guys to kind of supplement what FEMA's doing. Now, you're not FEMA, but it is a supplemental agency, and then a lot of people finding out FEMA doesn't cover everything, and that's where you guys will come in for. You have business in the title, but it's not just for businesses. It can be for anybody as far as declared parish for the disaster. Yes. So anybody can get a loan, which is a great benefit. So first of all, tell me what the SBA does and what are you guys doing during the storm?
Yes. Well, SBA is the Small Business Administration, usually helping entrepreneurs to open a business or expand their business. But they have a disaster Office of Disaster Assistance that works with FEMA on the declared disasters. In this case, Terrebonne Parish is one of the 25 parishes that were declared a disaster in Louisiana, and so FEMA comes and along comes SBA. FEMA offers grants for people to help them make their home secure and safe to go back, and SBA will offer them loans to make their home a whole as it was before the disaster.
So how would people go about contacting you? And a lot of folks, and we've talked a little bit beforehand about, sometimes there is some misunderstanding, like, hey, FEMA's going to give you all this money. Well, a lot of people don't qualify for FEMA, and they find that out right in the bat. If they even have insurance, that helps out. But you guys can supplement whatever damage they have, right?
Exactly. FEMA will help you with whatever your insurance doesn't cover, or in the emergency time to help you to get out of your house and go somewhere, maybe pay you some temporary housing. And then they will refer you to SBA for a loan. So if you are referred to SBA, you must apply for a loan, because if we cannot approve your loan, we may refer you back to FEMA for other type of grants. But in this case, as you said, your insurance won't cover 100%. So whatever gap there is between your insurance, whatever FEMA helps you, if they do, and that gap, you can get a loan from SBA to recover in the long term.
I see. The maximum benefit is $200,000 for a home.
For homeowners.
Property, personal property, could be another $40,000.
Correct.
The loans can go up to 30 years and at 1.56 interest rates, which is good, instead of putting it on a credit card or trying to do another kind of loan. So it can help out. So what's the process? What does somebody need to do when they come to see you?
They can come to we have a center, a disaster recovery center at the Civic Center here in Terrebonne Parish in Houma. They can go there. There is FEMA. They must register with FEMA first, homeowners and renters, and then they can apply with SBA. We have personnel that will help you apply, fill out your application, and answer any questions that you have, tell you what documents you will need, if there are any extra documents required, and then you begin the process. So there are $200,000 for homeowners, and for renters, $40,000 for personal property that may include your furniture, your clothing, or your car.
And it also applies to businesses, as we talked about. So you guys have already generated over 12,000 loans. And
that is correct.
$617 million. So you guys have been busy. But there is a deadline, right?
There is a deadline, and it's coming very soon. In 9 days, it's October 28th to apply with either FEMA or SBA, or both, I should say.
Right.
So October 28th is in 9 days. So you must apply, register with FEMA, and apply with SBA. If you do it before or even the same day, you are safe. You can continue the process after the deadline. But right now, it is very important that people know that there is the deadline in 9 days.
Sure. And sometimes those things, like we saw after Hurricane Katrina, they can do things, but there's no extension yet. So we'll see what our governor does or that. So, but hopefully you'll have enough time. Is it really packed in there, or can people get in?
Yes, I was there on Friday, and we had a lot of people waiting, but we have a lot of personnel also helping people. We're already closing loans, so it is really good. They had appointments for 12 closings on Friday, so people are going to get their money pretty soon, start getting money. And we also have this business recovery center at the East Library that is exclusive for business owners. They can go there, and we have people that know all about business loans, and they will help them fill out their application.
Right, and so that'll help a lot of folks get back on their feet. I know, a lot of people talking about, well, we had deadlines. We didn't even have power or internet. How are we supposed to do this? So that's why you guys are there in person, where somebody can go on, and I'm sure you have a way for them to get online and fill out an application.
Definitely. We are here every day at the Disaster Recovery Center in the Civic Center every day from 10 to 6, and we're not going to leave until the last person is helped.
Right. We've seen this, like I said, this is not our first storm, unfortunately. And we've seen that, they're still recovering in Lake Charles from the 2 storms a year ago. It's been 16 years now with Hurricane Katrina. It still seems like some of that's still fresh as well. So there's a lot of options, and you guys can walk you through it and help out with those recoveries. So again, how do you get in contact with you guys?
At the Civic Center every day from 10 to 6, and we have our 800-659-2955 every day also. You can get any questions answered, and also we have a web page, SBA.gov, and you can fill out your application online at disasterloanassistance.sba.gov.
Let's talk a little bit about SBA, where you fit in with FEMA, and everybody here is like, oh, FEMA's here, we can go buy a generator, we can go buy a chainsaw, and then you find out I don't qualify for a lot of things with assistance. And then people see SBA, and they see that B in there, and they go, well, that's not going to help me, I'm not a business. But that's where you guys come in because of the declared disaster assistance.
Yes, exactly. We're the Office of Disaster Assistance. And in the case of disasters, besides helping businesses and nonprofit organizations, we help homeowners and renters, so mainly everyone.
Yeah, so a lot of folks can take advantage, and a lot of people have. We had talked about over 12,000 loans generated so far, and another 20,000 to come. So people are taking advantage. And what are they trying to do with that?
Yeah, over 12,000 already approved for $617 million. Yes, we're trying to get their money as soon as possible. We're doing all the closings so they can receive their first disbursement, and they can start paying whatever they need the money for. And I want to make sure that everyone knows the loan is on the damages that you had because of the disaster.
Right. So you can't just add on to your house or do things like that. It has to be with the damages, right? So explain to that a little more. What are people asking for when they come in and ask for a loan?
Yes, well, people, they are waiting. Usually they wait for the insurance to come back to them and say how much they're going to give them. And they don't have to wait. They can apply with SBA. We make an assessment of their damages with the person, with them. They will tell us. They usually have pictures or a count of whatever losses they had. So we figure an amount of money that they need, and then we send a verifier and then approve them, whatever. And then when the insurance comes back with an amount, we can deduct that from the loan because we don't give double benefits.
Right. So you can't double up. Does that include deductibles, or that's not included?
You can pay deductibles with the loan.
You can?
Yes, you can.
That's interesting. Because a lot of people got caught with that too. And now they have a 5% of their value of their home, which is pretty high deductible in a lot of cases. But let's talk about the B in the Small Business Administration. Most of your loans generated have been for individuals, but you are there to help businesses as well, up to $2 million that they can apply for loans at a small interest rate of 2.85. So talk a little bit about what businesses can do and what they can find from SBA.
Yes, businesses, they may get up to $2 million for physical damage or economic injury. And that is where a lot of businesses take advantage of these loans because maybe they had a little damage physically and their insurance will cover, but then they were closed for 6 weeks, or they're still closed right now, and they didn't have any income, and they still have to pay rent or whatever expenses they have. So this is working capital that they will need.
A bridge.
And yes, and so SBA can lend them whatever money they need for this lapse in the disaster, until they can reopen and start getting income again, and that is something really good. It's working capital for them to keep on businesses.
Yeah, I mean, businesses are coming off a real tough 2 years, right? As we've coming out of the COVID situation, then you get hit by a storm, and a lot of folks I've heard it's like, well, I can't go into business anymore. They can't get employees back. People don't have houses, that kind of stuff. So that works out real well as well. So let's talk about you have 16 centers around the immediate area that have been in disaster areas. Can you talk a little bit about Homa in particular, and then the surrounding areas where people can go?
Yes, we have been in Homa already about a month with the center open. There is FEMA and there is SBA. So people register with FEMA, and then if they are referred, they go to SBA. We have personnel that will help them apply, fill out their application, upload any documents that are needed, and and then start their process. These are temporary disaster recovery centers, and we call them temporary, but right now we know they're going to be here until they are needed. And besides Homa or Terrebonne County, we have other 16 centers in all 25 different parishes. Those are set by the state government with FEMA, and we follow them. So wherever they have a center, there is SBA personnel to help out with our part in the disaster recovery.
Okay, you say there is a deadline of October 29th. The disaster is the 28th. I'm sorry, was a 60-day window. Could be extended down the road, but we don't know that yet. And obviously, you guys do not work on that. You're working on a deadline of 10 days from now. What happens in that window? What do you have to apply for before that window closes?
Well, they have to, homeowners and renters register with FEMA and apply with SBA. Once your application is in the system, they don't have to worry. We keep going on the process. Usually, personnel is here a few months after that, making closings or making any changes to the loans and helping out the people that were affected by the hurricane.
So you guys will be here for a while and helping out for sure. Like I said, we've seen it, disasters in other areas where they've had road homes or those kind of issues. That's not the case right now. We don't have a road home problem, not problem, but program to help out. So again, people can walk in at the Civic Center or any one of these things and apply online. You said you have a bunch of folks there that can help out with that?
Yes, they can just walk in. We don't take appointments, so everyone is welcome to come get their answers and apply.
And that website, one more time?
The website is sba.gov, and we have disaster loan at sba.gov.
Disaster assistance in this case, it's not all about business loans and those kind of things. So you guys are helping out where FEMA maybe can't provide help. So this is a great way. You have 16 locations across all the parishes, 25 parishes, I think you were saying, and a couple of big ones here at Civic Center and in East Homa at Library, correct?
East Homa Library,
where you can go for disaster assistance and loan. Now, these loans are a loan, so there are some requirements before you can get a loan with SBA. Although it's a government-backed loan and it's very low interest rates, there are some requirements. Can you talk about that?
Yes, definitely. The requirements are credit history, that it should be, definitely a good credit history you have, repayment ability that will be shown in your credit history, and there is a collateral on loans over $25,000.
So explain that a little bit more.
If your loan is over $25,000, we will require you to give us a collateral if you have real estate. But of course, if you don't have any collateral available, that's not a decline automatic.
I see.
Yeah.
And so, that's a lot of difference too. A lot of folks think, hey, free money. But yeah, it's a loan and it doesn't need to repay, although it could be 30 years. 30
years.
It could be a great interest rate as well. You can also spend, it's mostly for damages, or it is for damages. So you'll have to show proof, just like you would with insurance. But there is some money in there for mediation. So if you want to build something, can you talk about that?
Mitigation,
Yeah.
yes. There is a 20%, or whatever amount you were approved for, we can add 20% over that, so you can get any mitigation around your house, maybe elevated or a water wall around it, anything that will make it stronger or better for the next time that there is
Less
a hurricane.
likely to flood next time. or
Exactly,
whatever.
yes.
Which brings us to flooding, and this was not that big of a flood event. It was more of a wind event for everybody here. But normally, floods is our biggest issue here. And we're worried about water. We have a lot of flood structure, a lot of money we spend on floods. What about flood insurance? And obviously, that's a very fluid thing, no pun intended. But talk about flood insurance and getting a loan of this size.
Yes, if you are approved for a loan, you are required to keep a flood insurance for the lapse or the years that you pay the loan. So if it's 30 years, you have to have flood insurance, and that's a requirement.
I see. And you know, I mean, that's only
To
reasonable.
your
Obviously.
advantage, yes.
But you know, not to get into political stuff, but right now there's a lot going on with the infrastructure bill and with extending the debt ceiling and all that have to do with FEMA that a lot of people are watching here pretty closely. So I know you're not
Yes.
you're not in day to day with that. It's just a requirement. You got to have flood insurance.
Yes, definitely you would.
I see. So all right. So a person that has an issue that's caught in between, you have to apply with FEMA first. So just walk us through how you get to SBA and which your loans and what you're capable of. First, it starts with FEMA, right?
Yes, FEMA. You register as a homeowner and a renter. You must register with FEMA first. Businesses are not obligated to register with FEMA. It's a good thing for the government to know how many businesses were affected. But homeowners and renters register with FEMA and then apply with SBA. In most cases, right now it's about 65% of cases, they are referred to SBA. So they must apply. If they are approved, they are they have the choice to take the loan. They can take less if they don't need as much, or they can request more if they can prove that they need more money. And they have also six months to come back to us in case they don't take it. They don't have to decide right there and then. And if we cannot approve them a loan, we may refer them back to FEMA, and FEMA has other type of grants that they may be you may be eligible for.
Right.
So the process has to be completed applying with SBA.
Right.
Either you think or you think you don't want a loan or you don't need a loan. In the long run, is the best option is to apply, have it available to you if you are approved, and if not, we may refer you back to FEMA.
And that clock doesn't start ticking until you start taking the money, right? So
Correct.
You don't owe
Yes.
anything if you don't take it, but you can apply. That's interesting, though. A lot of folks will get declined by FEMA, and unfortunately, it's a big monster of bureaucracy, right? And then they go to you, and then you guys may find out, hey, you do qualify for something else with FEMA that you might not have specifically qualified before.
Correct. So it is very important to complete the process, and that's what people need to understand. Complete your application, and then we go from there. Because if you are declined by FEMA or referred to SBA and you don't do anything, the process stops right there. The federal assistance, you're not going to be available, get anything anymore. So it's best to apply with SBA, and then either you're approved and have the money available to you, or you're back to FEMA for other type of assistance.
Right. Real interesting there. So to apply, you can go online or you can walk in. So tell me about that.
Correct. You have the two options. So you can call our 1-800 number, 659-2955.
I walked right over. Can you say that again?
800-659-2955. And we have people available 8 o'clock to 8 p.m. and you can get any answers that you need to.
Right.
Or if you already started your process, they can give you any status.
Or they can go online, or you can walk in, and it's probably, if you're not real great online, it's probably the best way to have somebody kind of.
Oh, yes, definitely. And you may have questions. You may start it online, and then you are stuck for some reason. I met someone that called me and said, I'm stuck. Just go to the center, and someone will help you there. And just remember, before October 28th.
Okay, Elizabeth, thank you so much with the SBA. We appreciate your help.
Thank you.
We'll be back with more Bayou Time right after this.